here from Mowers Australia. Today just a quick video on actually installing the charge station for either the 1800 or the 1600. The installation is still the same. Basically, I want to run through it in a fair bit of detail, so the video might go for a little bit of time, because essentially, getting these base stations correctly installed and set up so you have no problems with them is one of the most important things to do with your Lawnba setup. So I've set up this little test track here on top of the grass today so we can have a bit of a closer look, and I'll show you that in a little bit more detail very shortly, and let's get into it. Okay, so the wire installation that I've just set up temporarily here, I've chosen to put the charge station in this corner here, and the wire just goes around the grass, so you can just see it taped down to the top of the grass and back to the start here. Now, position of your charge station is fairly important. It basically needs to be sitting in a corner, or it can be on a straight path as well, but it needs to face clockwise, anti-clockwise around your yard. So if it's going in this corner here, it will face this way. It cannot face this way. Basically just for the fact that the mower always travels in a clockwise motion to return back to the charge station. So in this particular case, the charge station would need to be positioned along about there. If the charge station can be positioned along a straight edge if required, it can be positioned there, and then that wire can continue on down the straight. But it does work a little better, a bit easier with the edge function, or the edge mowing function, if it's placed back into a corner as such, and like I said, facing an anti-clockwise motion so that the mower can travel back to the charge station in a clockwise motion. So as far as the position of the station forward and back into this corner, it can't, in this particular scenario, it can't be pushed all the way back against the corner of the grass. And the reason for that is for the edge function again. When the mower comes off the charger in this direction here and travels around to the edge function, it needs about a meter's distance for it to travel before it hits that wire. Otherwise it may actually travel over the wire and bump into your fence or whatever else happens to be in that direction. So the back of the charge station cannot be any further back than the line that this wire is on. So this line here coming through the wire here is exactly lined up with the back of the charge station. If the charge station was back here, which you would think would be the logical place to put it, the mower will come off here, go into its edge mow function, and it will cross this wire and hit the fence. Just because it needs about a 1 metre space, 1 metre travel for it to travel back to that wire. So, as far as the position of the charge station is considered, it's about there with the wire here, lining up the back of the charge station on the wire, facing in an anti-clockwise motion. On your charge station, there is 2 small green arrows, one here on the side here, and on the back there is another one just here. These actually line up with where the wire needs to travel underneath the charge station. So you'll see this wire needs to be in a perfectly straight motion through here. We put it back in position, and we line up the green tag here, the green arrow, with the green arrow on the back. So that is actually the position there where that charge station needs to go. That allows the mower to line up nicely with the charge pins, so that it makes that connection correctly every time it comes back to the base station. The other important point, which is one I can't demonstrate because I haven't done it myself here at the moment, is that you require 2 metres of straight wire in front of the charge station. Now this allows the mower to turn the last corner that it's travelling on back to the charge station and get a nice straight run up onto the charge station to make sure it's moving in a perfectly straight motion when it actually makes connection with the charge station. If you don't have this, you can have trouble with the mower. It'll come around this corner. As it's travelling, it'll hunt left and right as it's approaching the charge station, and possibly miss those pins on its first pass. Okay, some of you might have noticed that extra piece of wire here sticking out the side here that's not really shown in your manual. I like to do this. I'll show you what that is. Basically, it's just a wire coming out sideways to the charge station, and the reason for that piece of wire there is actually just to protect the charge station from being hit by the mower over and over and over again. I'll put that charge station back in position. It basically just allows, if the mower does happen to approach the charge station in this direction, it'll sense this wire here and turn around and go back rather than actually banging into the side of the charge station. So, what I typically do is make a nice right hand corner here. We just come out 100 millimetres away from the side of the charge station. About 100 millimetres from here, about in line with the peg hole in the charge station. We come out and just go across and then back again around the side there. So just to protect the charge station itself. It's not an absolute requirement, but I prefer to do it that way. So the other really important thing about installing these charge stations is being on level, flat ground. So realistically, the biggest problem that most people have with setting these up is that they sort of throw these charge stations down on the ground, generally on top of the grass, and they peg them down nice and tight in the 4 pegs in the side here, and of course the charge station bends like this. It doesn't allow it to be flat, and when the mower comes up to the charge station, it doesn't make connection with the pins correctly. It bounces off and goes around again and comes back. So, if like I said, if the alignment's out, if it's crooked, and the mower will come along here, it won't make contact with the charge stations. It'll hit the bump sensors, and it will turn and go around the charge station again. If it's not on actual flat ground, and the mower itself or the charge station is bent up or down or anything along those lines, when the mower comes in here, it'll actually hit the side here with the pins, and it won't make connection. So it's really the alignment between the mower's charging point here and these pins is absolutely critical to ensure that it does make contact easily every time it meets with the charge station. Okay, polarity. So this wire that's coming out from the charge station here, directly out, this wire is the negative. It goes into the black terminal on the charge station, and the wire coming in from behind the charge station, coming in, it goes to the red terminal. So at the back of the charge station, you have your red and black terminals. So the black terminal comes out, goes along that green arrow, under the charge station, out past this green arrow and out around the yard. And the wire coming in from the rear of the charge station, it goes into the red terminal, and whether that goes out around this protection strip here or not is really up to you. Okay, so this wire coming in here to the side here, so this charge station in position, you're now looking at it from the rear. The wire's coming through under the charge station out the back here to length here. We normally cut this to a more suitable length, maybe just as sort of there, but we just ensure that the wire's got a nice stripped end off the side of it, off the end of it. And we push these into the negative, the black terminal, in like such. And then the other wire that's coming around from the rear, we'll take its wire again, nice and peered back just a little bit so it makes connection with the copper. And we put that into the red positive terminal, like such. Once connection's all been made, you've definitely got a continuous loop. You can then plug in your charge lead, plug in. It's got a little thread there that actually threads up to hold the plug in place, and that's all connected. And I'll just turn that on the power point. The charger makes a single beep, and if the mower's turned on, the mower will actually return to the charge station when you replace power to that charger. Okay, so I'll test this charge station installation by having our mower put into home mode. So we just push home and confirm, and we'll watch the mower make sure that it docks nice and straight on that charge station. And as you can see, it did not. So this is what happens if you don't get the charge station correctly. It comes off the charger, returns to the wire, and goes around the entire perimeter again until it makes contact the next time. Okay, so the reason why this charger station installation just failed a little moment ago was that we were not actually aligned with between the green arrows and the wire. And in this particular case it does require a little bit of offset. I'll just put that around the back there. You'll see that I've moved the charge station just a little bit to the left off one of that wire there, just because in this particular installation it could be due with the concrete underneath the wire. The mower is just travelling a little bit off to the left of centre of the wire. Okay, now that we've just realigned the base station a little bit, we'll send this back into home mode and trial it again. So as you can see, when you're installing these charge stations, they can require just a little bit of adjustment just to get it right. So if the mower does approach the charge station a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, you can then just essentially move your charge station a little bit to the left or the right to counteract anything that's out of alignment. But like I said right at the beginning, is that alignment of these charge stations really is absolute paramount to your installation. If it hasn't got alignment, you'll continually be going outside finding your mower out on your yard and not in its charge station where it belongs. Testing of them, again, generally I recommend if you can get the mower to dock 10 times without any fails, then I think your alignment's okay. If it fails after 2 or 3, typically that just obviously means that you're going to get a 1 in 3 fail rate of charging, and one every 3 times the mower goes and cuts your lawn, you'll come home to find that your mower's out on your lawn still. So the one thing that I haven't really shown is just that alignment. I'm not sure if you get it, but the alignment between the pins and the mower is what needs to make contact without hitting the cover of the mower itself. Just one other thing just to point out while we've got it on here charging is that while the mowers are charging, that's on charge, the display panel is completely disabled. There's nothing you can actually press on the display panel. The only button that actually works is the emergency stop to turn it off. And then also, if you try and remove the mower from the charging while it's charging, it will drive itself back on. So it doesn't matter how much I push that back, it always drives back on to the charge terminals. So if you do need to take the mower off the charger while it's charging, you actually need to turn the mower off, remove it from the charge station, and then turn it back on again. Well guys, that's about it for just the charge station installation. Thanks for watching. I hope you've learned something. If you need to contact us, please check out our website at www.robotlawnmowers.com.au. Contact us by email at sales@robotlawnmowers.com.au, or check out our Facebook page. Just search for Robot Lawnmowers Australia on Facebook and you'll find us. Thanks for watching.